Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Yesterday I made a video on a piece of news coming from Europe where Eurovision board decided not to allow Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, speak, come in front of their audience, not physically, but like he usually does, via probably a big screen, and talk to the viewers and tell them, the audience, tell them that Ukraine is this, Russia is this, help us, give us something, if you know what I mean. So Eurovision, which is a competition, an artistic competition, which each country from Europe sends, I think, one band, one singer is going to sing a song, and then you got over there judges. They will say, okay, who sang the best, and it's kind of like just an artistic expression, and they're celebrating diversity and inclusion and all that, which is okay. The problem is this guy Zelensky thought that he can go in and he expresses his things over there. He was not allowed, according to a statement made by Eurovision. So Eurovision posted on their website a statement saying that at the request, the key word here is request of President of Ukraine Zelensky to speak, we could not allow him. We don't do this. We're not a political organization, and in our policies we do not allow political messages here. So that's across the board. That's how justice should be. So I'm surprised that they kept up their principle, they said. I will feature here in an article where I'm going to read you the full statement, which is about, I don't know, a sentence or two. So it's not long. So that's it. And that was it. And I thought, well, that's a good thing. The Eurovision has balls, and I think that's the way it should be. As I also disagree people, expressing certain kind of political views at the Olympics, but not others. And I was mentioning yesterday in my video, the power to the people, that sign, and many others. But somehow others are not allowed. So I don't think that's right. I think you in sports, leave the politics. I don't want to watch something which I usually don't watch, but a sports or competition, and then you see over there all kind of colors and things, and political messages, and I'm not over there for that. I'm for the reason why I'm watching is to see who's best, who's the best one, who's the best, not you're this, or I identify, or I came out, or I went in, or something. So let's see what's going on here, because now we have three liars. Three possible liars. Ukraine came and said, well, someone is lying here, because Zelensky, the president, did not ask to be allowed to speak to the Eurovision audience. So someone is lying. And they claim that it is the media, the Times, the British newspaper, the Times they featured the communique, the statement coming from the Eurovision board of something. So we have the Ukrainians, we have the Times magazine, or whatever it is, and then we have the Eurovision. Which one of these guys must be lying? Because the Ukrainians say, no, we didn't request for Zelensky's appearance, and these two guys says yes. So if they are right, these guys are wrong. If these guys are right, these guys is wrong. Or maybe these guys, some of them lied. So let's see what's going on in this little article that I have, obviously from the enemies, which is Russia Today, 12th of May 2023. Kiev blasts UK media over Eurovision claim. The Ukrainian president's office claims it did not ask organizers to allow Vladimir Zelensky address the audience. And here is all these guys over there celebrate diversity, blah, blah, blah. This is their message. All right. So the flags and everybody else, not much. Anyway, let's move on. The office of Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky has denied reports that it asked the Eurovision Song Contest organizers to allow him make a video appearance at this year's event. News outlets, including, so it's plural, news outlets, including The Times, reported this week that the European Broadcasting Union had turned down a request for Zelensky to make a speech during the Eurovision finals on Saturday. And this is the statement from the Ukrainians. The Times information does not correspond to reality, and quote, Zelensky's spokesperson Sergei Nikiforov claimed in a Facebook post on Friday, and I'm quoting again. The office of the President of Ukraine did not address the organizers of the Eurovision Song Contest to offer Vladimir Zelensky's online performance during the finals or at any other stage of the contest. So they say, we didn't ask. In a statement published on its website on Thursday, the Eurovision Board of Union, or whatever this is, Broadcasting Union, said it could not allow Zelensky to make any political statements during the event, insisting that the Eurovision Song Contest is an entertainment show and is not political by nature. And I'm quoting. Now, this is what the guys said. The request by Mr. Zelensky to address the audience at the Eurovision Song Contest, whilst made with laudable intentions, regrettably cannot be granted by the European Broadcasting Union management, as it would be against the rules of the event, end quote, the statement said. Statement, you see here, the first one is the request by Zelensky. So, now this is, as I said, there are three people here, three entities, there's the news and entertainment media that reported. The other one is the Eurovision Broadcasting Union statement on their website, and the third, the Ukrainians. Now I don't know. For instance, so we gotta find a liar. One of these guys is lying right now, or at least Ukrainians are accusing the other two of lying, because they accused Eurovision and the news. Now the news, either the news altered what the Eurovision said, or, I don't really, if it's written, it's written. Now if Times not only published the statement of the Eurovision Broadcasting Union statement over there, they published it, one of these guys, the truth here is only one. Did he ask, did he request, or not? The Ukrainians said we did not. Now the thing is this, what if they did? Why are so jumpy? I don't understand. Do you think that with their credentials at this point, Ukrainians, how should I put it, value will diminish because they requested that? A lot of people don't even understand. I said, yes, man, why didn't they let him? So that would sound like, the victims. The victims were not allowed because some people are, they understand, wait a minute. Rule-based society or world order is based on rules, law. If you break the law, you bend the law, there's no more, a just society, because that means you have special things, special entities, special people that can, do certain things that anybody else cannot, and that's not right and not fair. So people don't think that way. People in general are, how they are. So therefore, I don't know why these guys are so jumpy. And why against the British mass media, which was all in for the Ukrainians in this fight of the 50 countries against Russia. So they're on the territory of Ukraine. They were all for it. So I don't know why they think they draw more attention than necessary right now. Unless the other guys did not say it. But on the other hand, why are you so jumpy? These guys have been helping you 100% for the past year and 2 months or so, helping you without having to do it. But they did. And you caught them to one thing, and you're not gonna let that go. Because the population will not figure it out. That's it. So you say, okay, we don't allow any little crack to be in all this thing, in all the portrayal of Ukraine. You are supposed to be the victim, you idiots. All the article was Zelensky banned from speaking. Ban Zelensky, because Zelensky is considered here in the West as a great person. So everything negative done to that guy, without the reasons, they don't care about the reason. Zelensky committed, I'm just committed a crime, let's say. Oh my God, something happened. What did they do to Zelensky? It's not Zelensky that possibly, have done something like this. It's somebody did something to him. That's therefore maybe he did that. He had to, in the name of truth. They will spin it somehow, or they say no, they're trying to frame him. That's fake. That's not true. So I don't understand why these guys are. It happened to me many times. I'm going to give you a little personal experience. When I used to play football, when I used to play as a kid, as a teenager, as an young adult, and even as an old man. So when we're not old, but anyway, like current state, and play with friends, or play in a certain kind of competitions. Let's put it this way, and not competition, world tournament or anything. No, just area, teams and so on. So you would play against another team, and something would be not okay. The referee would say this, or maybe there's no referee and you make your own. Hey, it was a fault, it was this. And I will always let it be. Okay, man, forget about it. Okay, forget about it. So you leave it like, I don't know, like big things. Okay, they scored and you think it was a handball before they scored. I usually said, okay, it's okay, man, we're gonna play. We play. Is the pleasure of playing. That's the main thing. Not of winning, because we play with friends, acquaintances, so it's the fun. But then you will let it go for, let's say, I'm just exaggerating, 50 times. And one of these 50 times, one time, your team, I don't know, does something that is not quite kosher. And the other team fights you to death for that little thing that is really unimportant. After you gave them 50 times, it's okay, man. Let them be, man. We play here for fun. Doesn't really matter, But one time, they're on it. I'm going to give another example. When I used to fight and, Kyokushin, you spar in the dojo and so on. So I had one particular guy who I could beat. I mean, he was not better than me. But, when you spar, you don't, when you kick someone in the face, because in Kyokushin you're allowed to kick in the face 100%. But in the sparring session, you don't kick him. You just maybe tap it or come close, whatever you do. Sometimes you make mistakes and you can't stop it. But anyway, that's rare. And if that was, an accident or it was a, willful action. So I had this particular one person, and I know he's a friend of mine. When we were fighting, I think because, he was a little bit older than I was. And when we got over there, my group, we started challenging him, and then we surpassed him, and he didn't like that. Surpassing in any way. In fighting, in belts, in competitions, in all that. So when we were fighting, and it was not only me, it was me and another friend that fight this guy sparring, we kick him over, we do whatever we wanted in the terms of kicking. So we could have kicked him, let's say, in a 5-minute sparring session with him, because you switch all the time partners. You could kick him, let's say, 40 times, 30 times. I mean, he was like, you could do like a helicopter against his head. He was not as good. And we were that good. Because I'm talking about this guy too. Now, this guy, if he had one chance, to break your guard or catch you, he would give up. He would hit you, kick you in the head 100%, and he would be happy about it. So this is, I would say, so that kind of behavior was the mark of a certain kind of person. So the same here. After the West, the mass media in the West covered for Zelensky and portrayed Zelensky as the great general, better than Napoleon and others, now they make a little mistake and you jump on him and you make them look like bad. Now I understand that, how do you call it, you should immediately jump and hit someone back if you're, hit or something. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. But here, you hit back at the supporters, the guys that help you. Anyway, I think one of these guys are lying, and regardless who's lying, it's such an unimportant issue. But just to see how these guys are. The same thing, remember when the Russian payment did not go through for, the transit of oil or whatever it was, or gas. I think it was oil, from Russia to transiting Ukraine, going into Hungary, Czech Republic, Slovakia. Remember that one? And the Ukrainians closed it immediately, so these guys did not have energy, and they paid for that transaction, and then the Russians gave them the money again. They didn't care. It's about business clip. And how much help did they receive from the Czechs, Slovaks, and Hungarians? Hungarians maybe less, but nevertheless, is the other two. They'd have no problem of you up, like no problem hitting you in the face one time. And the other guys are helping these guys every day. So that tells you something about what kind of people actually are in charge over there. And those people, and these are minor things. I know maybe that one with energy was not minor, but this was a minor. Now, if they act like this in a minor situation, how do you think they would act if they would have the upper hand? So be careful, Russians. If these guys get the upper hand, you will not exist in the form you are right now. Categorically. And it's not them, it's the other guys. But if these guys will have a say and they will try to take care of you. So I don't know. Just think about it. You have children, you have a country, you have, as bad as you are, according to these guys, you still have family and all that. So anyway, that's it. Some of these guys is lying, one of these three, but who cares actually? It's just a principle, if we still have them. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.